This program is recorded and presented by Chippewa Valley Community Television. The audio for this program can be heard on WRFP LP 101.9 FM.
Chippewa Valley Community Television presents Your Local Race. Meet the Candidates 2016.
Hi, I'm Bob Brown, News Director with Chippewa Valley Community Television. Welcome to another in our ongoing series of interviews with candidates for the Eau Claire School Board. Today we're speaking with Aaron Harder. Aaron, welcome.
Thanks.
Why don't we begin by having you introduce yourself to the voters and tell them why you're interested in a seat on the school board?
Sure thing, yeah. My name's Aaron Harder. I was born in Eau Claire, an Eau Claire native. I lived here until and went to college here, University of Wisconsin Eau Claire, and around the time I graduated, moved to Minneapolis, then moved on to New York. I was in New York for about almost 15 years, and met my wife there, and we had some wonderful kids, 4 boys, and once the 4th one came, we started to get a little restless, and I realized I wanted something different than New York, and I said, what about Eau Claire? So we've been back here about 3 years, and that's when we started, getting one of the big draws for us was the public school system here and the quality of the schools. And my wife joined the board of the Montessori Charter School here in Eau Claire, public school, and is now president of that board. But through that work, we ended up going to quite a number of school board meetings, and I was there really just to kind of support her, and because I was interested, and got real interested as I got to see some of those meetings and some of the issues that they were engaging with, and I thought, this is something I'd be interested to do too.
Okay, great. Well, what kind of personal qualities do you think you bring to the board that would be particularly helpful in fulfilling its duties?
Well, I'm a small business owner, and I've had a business here in Eau Claire for almost 20 years. We do web software development, and currently employ about 20 people. And so between that and having 4 kids from ages 4 to 12 in the public school system right now, I feel like I would bring a voice that, in my opinion, is a little underrepresented right now, both as a parent and as somebody who hasn't spent his entire career in education. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it's vital to have people with that experience on the board, but I also think it's good to have a balance of people who don't, and that's something that I would be able to bring as well. And also as a parent, again, I think that's a viewpoint that is perhaps less well represented on the board currently.
Okay. Well, as you probably know, state and federal funding for school districts has been on the decline in recent years. And do you have new ideas that you maybe could bring to the board to help it in trying to figure out how to deal with these fiscal constraints that many districts are struggling with?
I wish I did. I think the reality is there's limited options that the board themselves have to correct funding issues. Obviously, they have the power to open a referendum to ask the voters to pay a little more out of their property taxes to help fund the schools. And here in Eau Claire district, we spend nearly 10% less per student than the average, the Wisconsin district average. And I just don't think that really reflects the commitment that I've seen that people have and that we have as a community to our kids and to education. I think we can do better, and the referendum that is almost certain to come up in November, I hope will address that. And as a candidate here, that's one of my key concerns, is making sure people are aware of that and the importance of that. Whether I get voted in or not, at least hopefully I can help get that message out.
Yeah, that maybe anticipated my next question is, since you're in support of that referendum, do you have ideas for how steps the board can take to generate the public support to pass that referendum?
I think it's important to be clear in the communication about why it's needed and what the impact is to each taxpayer. To help communicate the formula, for hey, if you're spending $1 extra per year, for every $100,000 of value on your home, let's say, this is what it means to the school system, and to be very, as precise as we can about that and put it in clear terms and simple terms. To me, that's important. Maybe there are others who have that idea too. I don't know really what their plans are right now, but that's what I'd like to see happen, and make sure that we're communicating it in that way.
Do you have, one of the challenges that the board always faces is striking that balance between district residents who want to keep their taxes as low as possible and the parents of people in the schools who want the services to be top-notch?
Yeah.
How do you go
of course
about striking that balance?
I think there's a large overlap between those groups. So, I don't know that there's necessarily a mutually exclusive concerns there, but and even for those who are taxpayers but not parents, I hope they will recognize the value of investment in the children of this community and of education in general. And so, that's, I think, the case we have to make.
Okay. Now, besides these fiscal issues we've been talking about, are there other issues that are particularly important to you that you think the board needs to address in the next few years? That's
the number one concern for me, is really the fiscal issue, compensation in particular. Facilities are a consideration. I think there's two aspects to that: the facilities, the buildings, and safety issues and security issues. I think the more important second facet of that is the compensation issue for the teachers, because there's no single factor that will predict the success of a student than the quality of the teacher standing up at the front of that classroom. And there's no better way we can invest that money to attract and retain that talent. And I just think it's vital that we make that investment. But so that is my number one. But there are other issues that I care about. I'm a big fan of alternative education approaches. I think there are a lot, some that have been really well proven to be effective in certain ways. Others that are still more experimental, but really merit some more testing and experimentation. My wife and I have had a couple of our boys at the Montessori school. That's great. It's wonderful. They're doing some great things there. The Wildlands School, our neighbors over in Augusta, are doing amazing work over there. Very impressed with what they have going on. I'd like to see more of that kind of innovative, teacher-led kind of experimentation happening, whether that's in the form of entire charter schools or whether that's in the form of these innovation zones that are happening within the more traditional public schools, where they can have these tests and programs within the existing public schools. Whatever form those takes, that's something I would definitely be advocating for if I were to be brought onto the board. And there are probably a couple other issues too. I think start times, I would like to see them changed. Our teens in late middle school and high school. I think
so. You're supportive of pushing those start times back for the older
definitely.
students?
I think study after study has shown that the effect of kind of sleep deprivation can have on your ability to focus and study. And the reality is those kids get into that age group, they're not going to bed any earlier. And I'm seeing it with my 12-year-old now and an 11-year-old, and I know it's not going to move in the other direction. It's only going to move to later and later. And it's just a reality of who they are as young people becoming adults, and the changes in their bodies, and they don't need less sleep, they need more. And it's just, I think anything we can do to accommodate that, because that is such a crucial moment in their educational lives, and it only comes once. And if we're messing it up by starting it an hour or two earlier than we need to, I think that's a mistake.
Okay. Well, clearly these and many other issues will come before the board over the next few years.
Yeah, there will.
Are there any last words you'd like the voters to hear from you, to know about you as they head into the polling booth on April 5th?
Well, I think we've got a lot of great candidates running this time around. Particularly our two incumbents who are running are really great proven quantities. But I think the main thing I'd like to say, rather than anything in support of myself as a candidate, is really just the importance of engaging and understanding the issues that are happening here in our district and how it's affecting our kids, and getting involved, and especially the importance of that upcoming, please voting in favor of that upcoming referendum, because our schools really need that funding to keep going.
Great. Well, Aaron Harder, candidate for Eau Claire School Board. Thank you for coming in today.
Thanks, Bob.
And
Appreciate
thank you for watching. We hope you will tune in and view the interviews with all the candidates for the Eau Claire School Board, City Council, and County Board. They're accessible on cable channel number 994, or also the website cvctv.org, online anytime. And hope you will view them, educate yourself, and then go to the polls on April 5th and vote for the candidate of your choice. And that night, tune into channel 994 for the latest in election returns as they come in. Thank you.
This program was recorded and presented by Chippewa Valley Community Television. Chippewa Valley Community Television is made possible by continuing community support. If you would like to volunteer or make a donation, you can contact us by calling 715-839-5067 or on the web at www.cvctv.org.